That's right, you are now listening to Tommy Tom's One Mic. Warning, this podcast contains explicit language, triggering or sensitive topics, and controversial discussions. Thank you so much for tuning in to Tommy Tom's One Mic.
Well, went to Georgia, had a good time, ate some good food, got to see family, and got
explicit language.
So, that was fun. Oh, whatever, screw it, that's as good as I'm gonna get. You know what, hit the intro, let's play it, let's go.
Alrighty. And in 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, 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 hey guys. Welcome back to Tommy Tom and One Mic. I like the guy. Good friends. We do not feel hampered at all by what life is throwing at you.
Yeah, man, the energy from the crowd is like so much. You can see that people are happy to be out and enjoying the music.
That reminds me, not like that, but how is your sexy mom?
What was it? In the fridge?
The Keebler out with beer.
At one point in time, I lit a flare in my hands to attempt to stay warm. But
I feel you. That's why I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna be fuck it.
Let's hit the mic.
Welcome back, folks, to Tommy Tom and One Mic. And as the intro may have alluded to, yes, I got into some mischief while I was visiting my family, but it was all in good fun and, for a good, I don't want to say cause, but a good time. But while I was out, I got to be honest with you guys, it's not like I haven't been to a strip club before, but I'm one of those weird people that, I just like having conversations with the strippers. I like people's stories. And luckily for me, I found a stripper that was willing to talk to me, and that is the lovely Ruby. Now, if any of you are wondering why you won't see Ruby's face, it's because she doesn't want her face to be seen. This is a woman who may strip, but is also in 2 different colleges, has gone through a gambit in life, and is only in her early 20s. And I think that's something to be, praised, not shamed. So I'd rather her words be the main focus than her looks. And once again, I was very grateful for her to agree to actually do this interview with me. And I think, if you guys can put your prejudice to the side, you might be surprised at some of the things that we may discuss and some of the real moments, especially in the second half of this, as we get into, her backstory, growing up, becoming homeless, and then eventually her rise. And I think that is a story for many, because let's face it, most of us have a stigma when we think about stripper or sex worker. The fact of the matter is, it's still just a job. Alright? If you make it just a job, that's all it is. And for many of them, it's just a necessary means to the end. As Ruby will tell you, many of them are EMS workers, teachers. They do a lot of stuff. But because of the stigma of being a stripper, they can't really, let themselves be out fully. Which isn't necessarily, a bad thing for them. Many of them, this isn't the end-all, be-all. So I hope you guys enjoy this interview that I have with Ruby. And of course, catch you next time. And today, we're going behind the scenes. We're going, I guess you can say, into the nightlife. I've had a plethora of different characters and people on here. It's time that I'd like to highlight, one of my favorite places, one of my favorite people to get to know over time. And it's, of course, those are the strippers. Many people have many thoughts about that. I, over time, have learned that some of the people with the best stories and sometimes the funniest stories. I have comics who also strip too, and I gotta admit they're hilarious because sometimes they're the most honest people. And with me today, I have my newest friend, Miss Ruby, with me today. Say hello to everybody, Ruby.
Hey, my name is Ruby. I am a stripper.
No shame. No. As I said to you, Ruby, I wanted to have you on. When I first met you,
like I said, I like to talk. I like to just. I'm probably I'm weird in that sense that like I go to the strip clubs and probably my favorite thing is just actually talking to the strippers for some reason. Maybe that doesn't help with the gay rumors, but whatever. I'll let it ride. It's cool.
I mean, it's funny because most of the strippers are gay too, so we also enjoy conversation. And like my favorite part of like the job is getting to know people and like listening to everybody else's stories.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, for me it's always just one of those things of hey, I have low self-confidence, low self-esteem, so I go in with like, what am I thinking? I'm gonna go in there and just be like, yeah, I'm bringing this one home. Yeah, sometimes it's tough watching other people kind of struggle and all that, and you want to help them, but in the end, it's up to them. You got to make the choice.
And the club will either make you or break you. Like working in that kind of industry, those hours, we're surrounded by illegal substances all the time, and either you'll fall into it or you'll avoid it. The drama, Jesus Christ, the drama that goes on behind the scenes that you don't like. There's something to get into it with a customer. There's another thing to get into it with another girl.
Yeah.
I've been working at the club 8, almost 9 months now. So I'm still considered like a baby stripper. And I've seen probably 4 major fights break out amongst the girls to the point where like guns got pulled out and like things like serious shit goes on. And like, it's things that a lot of people don't see because when we're on the floor, we're feminine and girly and beautiful and bimbos. we're not pretending. Well, we are pretending.
I would never say bimbos.
We definitely act like. You should see me among my customers. If I have a customer that's of a higher intelligence, I'm knocking myself down a peg because they're surrounded by other really smart women all of the time. They're not looking for another really smart woman in their life. They're looking for somebody who's like, oh my God, I have titties and I'm so pretty and take my money. I want all of your money. Give it all to me. Like that's how I am.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's just it's how we learn to be. It's absolutely a bimbo.
It's you become what I guess they expect. What they're searching. You try and figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, it's a game. Trust me. Like there's certain it's not the same thing, but I guess in certain like stand-up thing, I know there's certain areas and stuff that certain jokes are gonna hit a lot better than in other ones,
No, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. You read a crowd and you know exactly what you need to say and what you can't say. And I'll have certain customers where, God, I'm a fake bitch. I am a fake bitch, right? And I'm really good at playing a character. And I have a million different characters. I lie about everything when I'm on the floor. Whatever's going to make me money. I lie about my age. I constantly lie about my age. I'm 21. I turned 21 in December.
I think I got 23 or 24. I think that's what you told me. Yes.
I'm 21. I turned 21 last December. So I was working at the club when I wasn't even legal to drink. And back when I would tell people the truth, I would get a lot of, oh my God, you remind me of my daughter. Can I get a dance? Yeah. So we bumped up that age a little bit. And now my base range is 23. I will go up to 27 sometimes. Younger guys want older girls. Older guys want younger girls. Middle of the road people, they're probably going to get like 23. That's usually what I say. I tell a lot of people I'm in grad school. I'm not. I'm in my undergrad. I tell a lot of people, God, I will lie about my race. I'm very ethnically ambiguous. Hispanic people, I tell them I don't speak Spanish. I'm fully Puerto Rican. I speak fluent Spanish. Yes. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. No hablo en español. Like, because Hispanic guys don't want Hispanic girls. They want white girls. White guys love Hispanic girls. So then I'm fully Puerto Rican in that sense, right?
Hey, papi! One of the
Hola, papi. ¿Qué tal? Like, yeah, no, I play it up. And you have to. Every single girl has about 1 million characters they can put on. Quiet guys love talkative girls. Like, I will sit there and like talk your ear off. Talkative guys just want to talk at you. And then I'm all smiles and nods and I'm like, Smart guys, they'll tell me something. Oh my God. Engineers, especially. Anybody who tells me they work in engineers or any kind of trade work, I'm like, so what do you do? Oh, I'm a mechanical engineer. A what? And like, what do you do? Like, what is that job? Like, what do you do for your work? And they'll tell me, and I'm like, well, that just goes right over my head. Like,
I am never going to be able to go to a strip club again. Now I know the truth. I know the secrets.
like we all have
I love
a
being
million characters that we play. A million. And it completely depends on the person that you're sitting down with. And there's always this moment where you sit down with somebody you haven't met before. And we have the standard questions we always ask. What's your name? Are you having a good night? Right? And what do you do for work? These are the 3 questions you're always going to get from a stripper. And that is because we are building our character around who you are.
And the whole, that's it. It's funny because when I got back to New York, I went to a comedy show, and the girl that was producing the show, she's a stripper, and she was talking about it, and she has a deeper voice, and she's like, yeah, I can't even use my real voice when I do it. I gotta go, oh, hello, how are you?
Yes.
Like that. She is like, can you imagine? I just went, excuse me, sir, can I offer you a dance? Same thing. It's like, oh, okay, so yeah, I get the whole game.
I definitely have a deeper voice range when it comes to like just being a woman. Like my natural voice range sits about here. Sometimes it even gets lower. And when I'm at the club, I'm usually up here and I'm usually talking up here, and like this actually destroys my fucking voice over time. Like it is exhausting to keep my voice up here all the time. By the end of the night, my voice is scratchy and I'm tired, and fuck you, bitch. Give me your money. Like I become such a bitch towards the end of the night.
And that's it. You're done with it.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I always you always have those interesting things. I think when I was there, I heard like weird, you have the rules. You have the rules. Don't touch this, do that. Like, but there's always those weird interactions sometimes you have with like guys. Like I think one girl told me that like some guy licked her armpit or something like that. I was like, what? What happens?
So common. Yeah. God, I'm trying. So I've had some very interesting interactions with guys. The most common one that disgusts me to no end is when guys want to stick their tongue in my ear. Yeah. So they think it's hot, I think. They think that it's attractive. I can hear your mouth sounds so close to my ear that I can feel it in my spine.
Oh.
Stop. It's going to take a lot of money in my pocket for me to be okay with you sticking your tongue in my ear. I have had a guy buy my sock from my foot. Yep. This was back when I was a baby dancer.
Is this why you had different socks on? That's it. Okay, you're gauging. All right, what was the foot fetish? Let me see what.
So I have spare socks in the back now at all times because this dude, I was wearing like I had basic ass like Walmart 12-pack socks on, right? They were matching for fucking once. And I went, it wasn't even an executive. So we have 3 different levels of dances at the club. We have table dances, which are $10, VIP dances, which are $30, and executive rooms, which can range anywhere between $350 to $600, depending on the girl, for 30 minutes. Our club prices are considered more expensive because we are a higher end club. Like we're just a nicer facility. We don't do a lot of like, we don't do any back of house things. Yeah. To my knowledge. Yeah. And this was a VIP dance, so $30 a dance, right? And this guy, he offers to just massage my feet instead of me dancing. And I'm like, bet I'm getting paid $30 a fucking song to get my feet massaged. Like, yes, absolutely. I'm sweaty as fuck. I've been in my 8-inch heels all day. And this guy is like obsessed with my feet. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And he's like, well, can you take your socks off? I'm like, I haven't had a pedicure in like 6 months. My toes look absolutely ratchet. And I wear boot cut heels. So my toes are destroyed. It's like wearing ballet shoes, basically. Like your feet are always fucking destroyed. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's your fucking business, dog. So I take off my socks, and this dude at the end, I think we did like 4 or 5 songs. He goes, how much for me to buy one of your socks? I was like, I thought he was bullshitting. And I just spat a random number. I was like, $200. Right. Thinking that he wouldn't fucking do it. Homeboy hands me 2 hundies to take one of my socks. And upon having the sock in his hand and me having the money in my hand, he stuffs the entire sock into his mouth. The entire sock into his mouth. And now I'm like, oh my God. I have just sold my sock to this man. I was a baby dancer, did not have spares back then. So now I'm walking around with one sock on in my boot and one foot just fucking like raw dogging it in my shoe. So ever since then, I keep spare socks in my dressing room.
Never know. Yeah, it's a wide range of characters. I guess you can say definitely come on through and whatnot. I mean, you did mention, guys have their type and whatnot. And I know when I was there, I could definitely notice there were 2 people that were definitely sitting there that I could tell exactly what their type was, just because, which clearly was blonde. That was clearly their type for the entire time, because they would not throw money at anybody else. And I think that's what I would like, just, I feel bad. Let me just throw up there. I'll just start throwing some cash there. I'll just sit there. It's like, geez, guys, come on. And whatnot.
We definitely have every kind of girl at the club, other than I'd say like bigger girls. We have one girl that's maybe on the bigger end, but even so, like, she's got a pretty flat tummy. She just has the biggest ass I have ever seen on the face of the fucking earth. She's the girl that sticks the bottle in her ass. And like, I don't know if she was there the night you were there.
I know. I did not catch the bottle.
Okay. So we have one girl with the biggest BBL that I've ever seen. And she uses I think it's a Corona bottle. And she puts it in between her ass cheeks and then twerks with the bottle in between her ass, and it doesn't move. It just stays where it is. And it fucking gets the crowd going wild. And like, she'll walk around like the stage and she'll get people to put dollars in the bottle. Yeah. So that's her trick. That's what
I was gonna say. That's her trick. Wow. Yeah. If no one's giving the money, all right, time to pull out the ace in the sleeve, right? Or I guess the ace in the ass. I don't know how you want to say that one, but
yes.
One of those.
Everyone kind of has their type when it comes to being at the club, and I love playing matchmaker. If I've already gotten my money from you, I'm gonna ask, like, sometimes if I'm feeling like in a good mood, I'll ask you like what your regular type is. I've gotten a little bit more careful about asking drunk men what their type is. Oh God. Okay, so this is another fun interaction I had. I went to the back. I was giving this guy a dance, and I kind of like bullied him into getting a dance with me because he was like, "Oh, I'm broke. I don't have any money." I'm like, "Yeah, you do, and it's gonna be mine." And so we go back and we were doing a dance, and I was like, "So you mentioned that I wasn't your typical type. Like, what usually is?" He goes, "Well, I really like blonde girls," and I'm like, "Okay, cool. We've got some really pretty blonde girls here." And he goes, "Yeah, I really like blonde girls because my mom's blonde." I'm like, okay. And he goes, is that a weird thing to say? And I was like, well, Freud would agree. And he did not get that reference at all. But yeah, I'm a little wary about playing matchmaker now, especially after that interaction and a separate interaction where I accidentally paired up 2 cousins and they did not realize they were both there.
Oh yeah, that's that would lead to an awkward moment and stuff.
I dread the day a relative comes in. Dread.
I rule the day that I think even when I found out the comic was a stripper, it was like, I was like, I hope that's not why she looks so much familiar. I hope I don't. And like, it was her boyfriend who booked me for this show that I'm doing. It's like, if I ever see anybody I know, I already know my instant thing is like, I'm just gonna leave money on the stage and just like go hide in the bathroom or something for a while. Like I don't. It's too awkward for me, I guess you could say. Like even to the point that like a lot of times I do solo dolo to strip clubs because it's like, I know my friends are fucking animals, or they're married or something. It's like, I don't want to see you at your worst or something. Always I fear going with certain friends also, that it's like, I don't like that scene. Like even going out to bars and stuff, there's certain friends that I'm just like, I don't want to go out. I know you're just going out because you're pussy hunting right now, and I'd rather just kind of hang out. That's why I'm going out. I don't need this. I'm not gonna wingman you right now.
I will say there's a very, very large portion of the clientele that comes to the strip club that expects that when they go to the strip club, they're going to be able to go home with a girl, or they expect to get full service, which is not what a strip club is. The way that I explain it to people is like, I sell sex appeal, not sex. Like I am a glorified model. Like that is my job. You're not going to go to a runway show and expect to be able to go home with one of the models and fuck her. Like it's the same situation here, except I'm interacting with you, and that's as far as it's going to go. And then there's a lot of I've been offered everything between $40 to $40,000 to go home with somebody, and it's just you have to have a certain level of morals when you're working in that kind of business. Like I'm not putting myself that far out there for money, and like more power to the girls that are doing that kind of sex work, because it's just not something that I could do.
Like I don't judge that or like you said, for some people that might be their only income, that might be their main source that they got to go through. But I think it's also, that's up to them. I think a lot of people, it is that stigma, like we talked about. I know a lot of people think, oh, you're already taking your clothes off, might as well just, go all the way. At this point, you're already halfway there or something. That's the mindset for a lot of people and stuff. And I think that's, part of why I wanted to have the conversation. It's like, look, no, there's a person, behind the titties. There's a person behind there, it's hard to look away, but yeah, look a little deeper and you'll see that. And it's, I sometimes, I guess that also ties into why sometimes I like to go by myself and all that. It's like, no, if I don't think you're going to be respectful or something, it's like, it's supposed to be just a fun night. So that everything should just be fun. It should, like I said, I like just talking to the girls. I like just hanging out and stuff. I joke that sometimes I go out and I end up like leaving with like other random dudes' numbers or something. That was just like interaction. It's like, we just got the bottle service. It's like, what'd you get? You got that? Yeah, cool. Yeah, you want? We'll trade. Hey, I like, all right, cool. And all that. And then I pimp my fucking stand up to them or something like that. I just network, do it is. And I know, yeah, I was nervous, I guess, to ask you to do the podcast and whatnot, in the sense of like, yeah, it's God, I hope she doesn't think this is just like my corny way of like trying to flirt and get in her pants or something. It's like, hey, I got a podcast. You want it? Like, no, that is the lamest fuck. No, I actually have a podcast. I'd actually like you to be on it. This is no, stop. Please don't think that. No.
Well, being a dancer, you get really good at reading people. And I was good at reading people before. Like I got this job and it just increased tenfold now. So I can tell who are the people that like genuinely want to be my friend and who are the people who are looking for the trophy friend or the people that want to get in my pants. I've definitely had people. I had an interaction recently where I had this really great conversation with a guy. I was trying to get some money out of him, that kind of thing. But he was a cool guy. I'm gay. I'm fully gay. I'm not into dudes at all. And towards the end of our interaction, he asked me what it would take for like me to go out on a date with him. And I was like, dog, I'm a dyke. Sorry to break it to you. Like, I know I'm out here and my titties looking femme as hell, but I'm also into titties. So like, I'm not interested in that. And he was like, well, being gay isn't real. And I was like, cool. He already had my number from a previous interaction that I had with him, so he could let me know when he was coming in so I could get more money out of him. It's the only reason why people get my number at the club. And for the most part, people have been very respectful about only hitting me up when they're coming into the club. He proceeded to send me a text message saying, like, I know you're only into girls, but I can change you, pull up at my crib. And I was like, let's not be disrespectful. We're not going to do that. Yeah. He has come into the club since then and has tried to talk to me on multiple separate occasions. And I'm good on that. I can get my money elsewhere. If you're going to be disrespectful, I don't need your money. So.
I don't know where a lot of guys might like, just that mindset always just blows me. That's like, it's like the dick pic of almost like for me for like it's like I don't get it. Why? I don't think any girl has ever asked. You never hear of an unsolicited pussy pic, all right? But there's always the unsolicited dick pic. Why? Because no one wants that, essentially, more often than not, unless they're actually asking. But it's like there's a mentality sometimes with a lot of dudes that's just like, do you see yourself right now and realize how kind of, to be blunt, pathetic that kind of looks to just be like you're just doing that. It's like, that's it's not the move. It's not the move, I would say.
I also feel like, in reference to dick pics, of which I have received many.
I'm certain.
Men have 3 angles that they take a dick pic from. 3. That's it. They've got the mirror picture, right? They've got the mirror picture. They've got the chest and penis, and then they have the penis in reference to an object. Those are the 3 dick pics that you're gonna get.
All right, I'll give you a fourth because my friend told me this. Okay, he says you don't show the whole thing. All you do is you show the dick root. He's like, because that's like the biggest part, always there. You just kind of do that as like the tease. So you just kind of like pull it down so that just the root's there. he went in a whole spew to me about it. I was just like, all right.
Gross. Again, as somebody who is not into penises, I don't understand the appeal personally. I think women get way more creative with their nudes. I think women get very, very artsy with their nudes. Yes. Now you get the basic ones. You get the, oh my god, look at my titties, like that kind of thing. But I'm also like a boudoir photographist, or a boudoir photographer. And so I do photos.
I will never pronounce that word again. I can see why you had a struggle. I was like, I'm gonna go. Okay, yeah.
So I take pictures for girls' Instagrams or OnlyFans, and they're tasteful nudes everywhere between like PG-13 to XXX, basically. And those get creative as hell. I did a photo shoot recently for a girl who wanted a Star Wars themed photo shoot where we use like lightsabers as the lighting for her nudes. And like that shit, like you're not gonna find a man who does nudes with lightsabers. It's just women get so much more creative with it that I don't understand the want to get a dick pic when you could get a girl posing with lightsabers fully nude.
Yeah, no, it's a thing, I guess. Like I said, you got to deal with a plethora of characters and all that. I'm certain, but we're gonna take a quick little, I guess you can say, commercial break. And when we get back, we've talked about the club, we talked all that. I want to talk more about you. This former chef. Now going to school, maintaining that. Working, just living your life and show. There's more to you than great titties and a nice ass. We want to show that. So we will be right back after this. As I had to learn, you're not alone. If you look, there will be a hand out there for you. Something you've learned firsthand. I am certain of.
Absolutely, man. God has been kind of directing every step of my life, and it's kind of been a wild journey for me too. Even theologically, man, I've changed a lot, from when I first graduated, Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma, till where I'm at now. Actually, to be real with you, I kind of don't align a lot with mainstream Christianity in the sense of my theology. Maybe some of what I believe that would maybe be considered like heretical. And I would say I'm probably more radical for my faith than most people, and more zealous, because I take the Bible kind of at the word. Like I use scripture to interpret scripture.
Raise Up Smash Therapy is nestled nicely in its space in the Bronx, New York, and highlights that sometimes the best things are the simplest. In the waiting room, you'll get the chance to hang out and suit up in some protective gear before you enter your quote-unquote therapy session.
Whether it's a bat, golf club, or whatever the staff may have lined up for you for that day, don't be afraid to let loose and go a little crazy on all that breakable stuff that will be nicely lined up for you for your therapy session. And much like the establishment itself, Raise Up has 2 smash rooms with their own unique aesthetic, highlighted by the graffiti art and albums scattered throughout that show Raise Up's ties with the city it was raised in. Enjoyed that little break that we just had. And of course, here with Ruby, stripper extraordinaire, legend in the making, of course. How old is she? I don't know anymore. Who knows? She's however old you want her to be, I guess. Respectfully, let me put that in there. I got to put that in there because I just realized that I set that up real bad. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on for that one. Anyway, Ruby, as we were talking, I think the thing that caught my attention in that first half was being a chef. So I guess tell me a little about your career in the restaurant business, I guess, and the struggles and glory, I guess, and all of that.
Yeah, so I've worked a million jobs. That was one of my favorites when I was working as a cook. I started that job off just because I had transferred to a different school out in the city I was in, and I had applied as a server, and they were like, "We don't need servers, we need cooks," and I was like, "Fuck it!" Like they were offering a good wage, and so I started doing that, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. I got really good at it really quickly, and I had started at a time where they had just fired their entire kitchen staff for all doing they were into some bad shit. And I was the second person they had hired. So the first person they hired, his name was Dylan. Love Dylan. And he became we called him Chef Daddy. It was him, me, and then my other friend who's now a dancer with me. And we all just hit it off really quickly. And so I was a sous and he was our head. And he ended up leaving because he got engaged and they moved to North Carolina together. And I ended up being the head with 4 months experience doing what I was doing. It was a Greek restaurant and it was this small little family owned business. And I loved it. I was a completely different person working that job than I am now working the job that I as a dancer.
Well, like you said, you had to be, especially, I guess, limited experience and all that. You had to kind of you had to toughen up. You had to be boss bitch instantly right there.
I was running a staff of pretty much exclusively men. They all learned to be respectful of me. They didn't they didn't come into it and see me and be like, "Oh, that's boss." No. I'm a very pretty individual. I'm also pretty short. And so for a lot of these
wear
guys,
those heels. You didn't try and wear those heels. Maybe now.
Not in the kitchen.
You go back. Back. Now you had to wear those heels. Underneath the chef thing. Maybe then you looking down at all of them.
but it was rough. They had to learn to be respectful of what I said go, like went and all of that, and yes chef, no chef, like we did that shit. It took me a while to get comfortable in that position, and it took me a while to understand that I needed to lay down the law of the land. Like, no, you cannot smoke a cigarette in my kitchen. You are over an open flame. Yes, when I tell you to sweep, I mean sweep. And no, you cannot. I had this one 16-year-old kid who had never had a job in his life. Obviously, his mom wanted him to learn responsibility, and he had clearly never used a broom in his life. And I had him sweep the kitchen after hours, and he took the broom and like with one hand, he was like just kind of pushing at the ground, and the other hand he was scrolling through TikTok, and I was like, get the fuck off your phone. Get the fuck off your phone and use two hands on the broom.
Oh man.
He was a character. He was definitely a character. But it was a whirlwind of an experience. I'm still in contact with a lot of people that I worked with when I was there, just because we ended up being this like really big family. Before that, I worked every job under the sun. I worked in a nursing home. I was a gymnastics teacher. I used to live down in South America. I was an English as a foreign language teacher at a school for children with Down syndrome. Like, yeah, I've done everything.
Are you
and
sure you're 21 and not like 51 at this point?
Yeah, so I get that a lot. I've lived a very, very long 21 years. God, I'm currently in school right now studying art history at my university, but I'm starting at a technical school in the fall to be an EMT, and then eventually a paramedic. That's my dream job. So hopefully by the end of this year, I will have my EMT certification, and then I'm going to continue on into being a paramedic after that, and hopefully eventually a flight medic.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, but I've done everything.
So I'm like, geez, it's like, all right, Liz, God, your resume.
Yeah, no, she's intense.
Jeez. So you went down to South America. Where about in South America, I guess?
So I was supposed to graduate high school early, and I didn't want to. I wanted to welcome my graduating class. And instead, I took on a program where I was going to be like a foreign exchange student technically for a year and a half. I ended up in Paraguay for half of my exchange and Argentina for the other half. So technically I was a student, but it was a technical thing. It was just so I wouldn't be considered a dropout. I attended a Catholic school, which was that was fun. I still have the uniform. I really want to crop it for work.
I could gather that because you did the little tongue move there. When you right after you said it, I was like, oh, she has evil thoughts with that Catholic girl outfit. Definitely.
I hated Catholic school. I really only went, I'd say, twice a week at most. It was just to show face. I didn't learn a damn thing there except how to be a bitch. They hated me at that school. I was the young American girl who would fuck around and find out way too often. I was openly bisexual at the time, and 3 other kids came out while I was there, just completely disrupting the integrity of their school. Yeah. And so while I was there, like, school was the last thing on my mind. I was more focused on like my teaching and my students. I have some absolutely adorable pictures of me like in a classroom full of anywhere between I worked at 3 different schools while I was down there. And my favorite school was my students with Down syndrome. It was a school that was just kids with Down syndrome or other kinds of disabilities. And I was their English teacher, quote unquote. We mostly listened to just like English songs and played around for a while, but God, I loved them. It was so much fun. I miss it.
So you had to do all that. I mean, my mom, she's retired now, but she was working with special needs kids down in Georgia. So she's done her fair bit. But I mean, yeah, you've world traveled, universally worked. Just put you wherever, I guess you can.
Yeah. When I came back stateside, I had 1 semester left of high school to complete. I was over it by that point, and I didn't really want to be there. that was also, I got back December of 2019.
No.
So
right before. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The exchange students that went out right after me ended up having to return home very, very quickly. I feel very badly for them because it was a great experience. And so I came back, and within 3 months of me being in high school, we went into shutdown. So I really didn't graduate high school, technically. We had like a truck ceremony where we all got into like the backs of trucks and like picked up our diplomas from the school and that kind of thing. But during that, I was a gymnastics teacher for toddlers and children with special needs, mostly motor disabilities. So I had a lot of kids with like cerebral palsy that I was just kind of teaching how to walk across the low beam and things like that. And that's when I fell in love with teaching. Because like I loved teaching when I was in South America, and coming back just reinforced that. So I love education and all of that. It's just the United States is not really where you want to be a teacher right now.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of friends that are, teachers and whatnot. Really, it depends on the area and all that. I mean, thinking like every one of my friends is teaching and nursing, at least in the area I live in. Those are the two main jobs that a lot of people do up here. But I mean, there is something rewarding and whatnot. Like, I don't have any kids myself that I know of. But I am the fun uncle for a lot of kids. I always enjoy that. It's always something fun where it's like the kids may be like assholes to their parents, and then here comes Uncle Tom. He's coming over, and it's like, all right, let me talk to the kid. What's up? What's mom and dad doing? Huh?
Yeah.
They're doing that? All right, cool. Let me tell you about your parents or something like that.
I've had a few incidences where like I don't have any kids myself. A lot of my friends have kids. So I'm very happy to play Thea right now. Just getting to have a kid and then giving him back. That's how I like to be.
Sounds bad, but at the same time, it's like, no. Hey, anybody that has a kid knows exactly what you mean.
I had this one kid back when I was teaching gymnastics. She came to me with pretty severe cerebral palsy for the young age that she was. And her doctor had suggested that she start doing like gymnastics in order to build up her muscle mass. So she came to me at my studio, and I had her for about a year at the time. And in that process, she was everything to me. I didn't have favorites, but she was my favorite. She couldn't walk in a straight line when she first came to me, and we had this low beam, which is basically like the balance beam but on the ground.
The low.
So, she couldn't walk across that when she first came to me. And during our graduation ceremony, which we would do at the end of the year, graduation ceremony, it was basically just the kids showing off what they had learned during their class time. She walked across the low beam, she did a forward roll, and she did a donkey kick, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was way more than what she could have done when she'd first started. And I held it together while she was
I was gonna say, were you able to just keep
in the time that when she did that, and her parents were in tears, and I held it together until we had everybody out of it. And then my manager looked at me, and I had just put in my 2 weeks at that point, and she looked at me, and I just kind of started like welling up with tears, and she's like, you're good, and I just started like sobbing, crying in the middle of the fucking gym, just like, I'm gonna miss all of my kids. Like, it was terrifying. But I had just applied to university, and I had to move out of my hometown, and so it was sad. And after that, like I worked. God, from that point, I was 18 then. Yeah, it was crazy.
You're just in the workforce and all that, because from conversations, I gathered that you've moved around. You've been around a lot of places and stuff like that. Just you've had a lot of, I guess you could say, resets, I guess, and whatnot. And I'm hopefully, this one's the one that's gonna like really solidify you for the future. You're going to school, you're gonna go for the NNS. Hopefully I don't have to see you in that position, you know. But that's it's exciting, and I think like once again that's the show. There's more to the story than what people might think. You know, there is something rewarding when you work with kids and stuff, and you get to kind of see that benefit and all that. It's like, oh, wow, and it, in all intents and purposes, you're still very young. You got a lot. It's like I can't even fucking imagine what else you're gonna fucking do. What at this point. You got these years ahead. It's very clear you have a good head on your shoulders, and that you're not gonna be. Yeah, you've seen the bad. You've seen the bad. So and you know, thankfully you've been able to avoid a lot of that and stuff. So
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been through a lot. I had a brief stint in Ohio that did not go well. But when I was in Ohio, I was at rock bottom. Like, I was homeless. I was kind of just, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life at that point. I still don't really know what I want to do with my life, but I didn't think I was going to go anywhere back then. And so I've hit a point now where I'm aware that I'm young, and I'm aware that I have so much ahead of me. And I know if I work towards something, I can get there no matter what it is. So I'm excited to see what my life is going to hold.
Oh yeah,
look,
to
see where I'm going to go.
Sometimes you gotta hit that red button. Look, it took me about almost 30 years for me to fucking, because I just kind of floated through life, and I've been very honest on my podcast about I think at a young age I decided, yeah, I'm gonna kill myself one day. That's my goal. That's my dream. That's how it's gonna go. But I'm not gonna do it yet. But I use that almost as an excuse to be a dickhead. Let's just be honest. I just use that as an excuse to just fuck up and all that. And I had to get 3 DWIs, go to jail a little bit, and it didn't really even hit. Like, even seeing my parents, there and all that, didn't really hit. And then, like, honestly, like, I usually get some shit from people that's like, I don't know why you talk about going to rehab. I was like, no, I went to rehab not because I had a drug problem. I even said to them, I got a me problem that I just need to like stop. I need a pause in my life to kind of regroup, look at things a little bit, and like figure it out. And then, doing stand up kind of reinvigorated me. It's like, oh, this is what I used to do when I was younger, where I used to write. Like, I graduated high school, got a book published that paid for most of my college, but I'm a college dropout because I just started drinking and partying instead of doing what I should have done. And it's that wasted talent and all that. That's why I commend you. You may have hit the rock bottom, but sometimes you got to be grateful for those rock bottoms, because sometimes you need that kick in the ass to just fucking get it together and be like, okay, I can't go back to here and stuff,
When I was younger, when I was 18 years old, my mom kicked me out. And I experienced homelessness for the second time in my life, because when I was a kid, we were living on 2 different teacher salaries, and we hit the recession when I was a kid, and that kind of fucked us over for a little while. But when I was 18, I was on my own completely. And I was very new to being an adult, and very new to having to learn how to like pay all of my own bills and all of that, and it was hard. I ended up in Ohio because one of my friends, God, this is gonna sound like some dumb teenage shit. I had met this girl through TikTok, and we became internet friends, and we talked every day. We became very, very close. And when I got kicked out of my house, she had also gotten kicked out of her house. And so we found this like cheap ass apartment that was like $700 a month in the worst part of town. And we ended up there. But when I first got there, like the apartment hadn't been fully set up yet. The move-in date got pushed back. So we were both living in like her friend's spare bedroom together with just her, me, and my cat. And they had dogs. So my cat was like stuck in that room all the time. At one point, he'd gotten out of the window, jumped out of a 2-story building. Like, it was a whole thing. she was dating this person who was a very violent individual and had threatened my life on multiple occasions. And at one point, I'd gotten into a fight with my roommate, and their partner was like, well, I guess I'm just going to come up to Ohio and kill you. And I was like, all right, but I got into the mindset of they can't kill me if I kill myself first. So I overdosed and ended up in a hospital getting pink slipped. And that was my first like inpatient treatment that I'd done. I had done outpatient treatments before, but I'd never been on a mandatory hold before.
Yeah.
That experience being in the hospital with other individuals who had done similar things to what I had done was absolutely life-changing for me. Like I was the youngest person on that floor. I had made friends with this person who was in his 50s, whose daughter had the same name as me, who had just died in a car wreck, and who was completely illiterate at 50 years old. And I was helping him fill out all of his like meal forms and all of that because he couldn't read them. I had another friend who was a very talented guitar player who a nurse brought in a guitar for him to play, all of these things. I ended up back in Georgia after that, just trying to get my life back under me. I'd ruined my savings, having been in a different state with nothing to my name, except me, my cat, and like one suitcase full of clothing. And that's when shit really started to take off for me. I started university, started trying to figure out my life. Went through a really bad stint where I was drinking a lot. And then I ended up where I am now, where people look at me and they wouldn't say that I'm doing great, but I am. Like, yes, I'm a stripper. Like, yes, I take off my top for money. But I'm going to be an EMT by the end of the year. I'm in a separate university program studying something I love, which is art. I play my violin once a week. I have the most amazing friends I could have ever asked for, and I'm rebuilding my relationship with my parents. Like, these are all things that I never could have imagined that were going to happen in my life, having been where I was. And over the course of even just these past 3 years, having gone from having nothing to having my bills paid, like, that's even just a big difference for me. So I'm excited to see where I'm going from here, knowing where I came from.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's that journey. A lot of people, that's the best way I can describe it. They don't understand a lot of the struggles that most people's central focus is always going to be on themselves. They're not going to look towards and try and understand other people's stories. I think me and my friends, we talked about it on our other podcasts, how everyone is looking, I guess, that they look for villains to kind of excuse what's going on with their life. So because it's hard to look at yourself, because they think, oh, I don't want to be the villain. I want to be the hero. So I need to put this blame and all this other stuff on someone or something else. I think one of the biggest things when I was in rehab is always everyone was just saying, oh yeah, I'm going to stop doing these drugs. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. You know, the drug got me. And for me, it was always like, why can't anybody say, look, I fucked up? And I think if you could just say that, yeah, I fucked up, you know, just be honest. And that, I think that's the biggest thing, just being honest with yourself and everybody else. There's so much more power for that. Like, I know there's plenty of people who don't like me, who will talk all the shit that they want about me. You know, people who I was longtime friends with, you know, that I don't really talk to anymore. Not because I hate them or anything. It's just that I know for myself, I'm heading in this one direction. And most of my life, I was always trying to bring everybody else with me. But in doing that, you're getting stagnant. You're not doing that. And it's like, look, I'm not a hard person to reach. If you really want to talk to me, you know, but I'm going to keep trying to do better. And once you hit that rock bottom, you find that it's like a lot easier to deal with certain situations that come in front of you. It's like, I've dealt with worse. I'm not worried about. Like, for me, it's like, all right, I'm dealing with my housing situation. It's like, but I'm going to I want to move. I don't care. I wanted to move back in 2020, but then the pandemic happened, and it's just like, it's not feasible. I have this job up here. It's grocery. I'm essentially an essential employee, so I don't have to. I'm one of the few people that actually had to work throughout the pandemic and whatnot. So it's like, okay, cool. I might as well just stick with that. And it's like I realized it's reached this point, and I have all these other opportunities. I might as well just take them and do them. And I find it commendable for you. And that's like, yes, you're still young, but it's the maturity for some people, and that's the toughest thing for a lot of people is finding maturity. It doesn't matter what your age is, whether you're mature or not, completely dependent on you. And so yeah, once again, I commend you for all that you've done and all that you've achieved in the short time that you've been here, essentially. And it's you should never look at all those past struggles as these marks or have those hold you down. And I think you have the right mindset of just like, I was there, but look where I'm at now, and a lot of people can't say that for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have my moments where I still act like I'm 21. Like, I still am 21.
I'm still 21 in my own heart sometimes. You catch me late night at like 4 a.m. wandering around New York City. It's like, what am I doing right now?
I every now and then I'll let myself just kind of be young, dumb, and stupid, and I'll stay up too late, and I'll go drinking with my friends, and I'll act a fool of myself. But in my day-to-day life, I have the mentality of a 70-year-old woman. Some days I want to be home, I want to watch my little documentaries, and I want to knit. Like, that's just that's a good night for me.
She's knitting, she's got her cats. Oh yeah, you're set. You're right. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I'm gonna be the hot cat lady. But
I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if I So you're gonna take that? You're gonna be the one?
But there's definitely like what you were saying about needing to own up to your own problems. I have been the biggest villain and the biggest protagonist in my own story. Like, there were issues that happened that were out of my control. There were issues that happened because I was in full control and because I fucked up. Like, should I have gone to Ohio with an internet friend? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That was me. I chose that. Like, things like that. Like,
no, you start looking at certain things, and it's like, it's easy for me to just put this blame on somebody else, but what is that gonna do? What were my choices and my actions that led to this? And so sometimes it isn't all your fault. There are other people and all of that, but you can't control them. You can't really put that. So it's just focus on what you can control, what you can fix and whatnot, and just kind of move on. Like I said, I don't have any issues with anybody. I'm sure plenty of them think I have issues with them just because I don't talk to them. It's like, I don't talk to you because I don't want to start issues. I don't want to have issues. It's not worth my time to start having this argument or even just have a conversation that's just going to be pointing fingers back and forth. It's like, you're still young. I'm too old for this shit at this point. I'm 35. I can't do it anymore. I'm done with it. I'm just like, guys, I've spent that part of my life to focus on everybody else. It's now I need to actually focus and get myself together, because I've realized, you know what, regardless, I'm going to have people that believe in me, and that's what I'll focus on. Let the world, let whatever judge me whatever way they want. People that love me and want to be with me, they're there for me. Those who don't, hey, as far as I'm concerned, at this point now, I'm like, you're lost. Just go with it. So once again,
to bring it full circle, all the things that I've learned in my very long 21 years, I have had to take into the club, because I am surrounded by women who are at my maturity level and who are very much not at my maturity level. And you learn very quickly that you're either going to be the person that fights or you're going to be the person that stays quiet. And as shitty as it is, because sometimes you want to speak up, I keep my damn mouth shut 90% of the time. Like, if girls want to get into arguments and make their lives harder, that's their business. this for me is a job. It's a job I enjoy, but it's a job. And I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to argue with you when I just spent my entire night dealing with men who want to objectify me and get into an argument with a girl over the men that want to objectify me. It's just not going to happen.
It's not worth the time and effort.
It's not.
That's not.
Never is.
No, that's the one thing most people I think need to learn. Sometimes the argument and the anger, it's just not worth it. It's supposed to decide. But before I let you go, let you deal with your cat, who I'm sure is probably chewing up something or scratching up something secretly.
He's inside of his cat backpack, which is outside. Okay, he wants to go on a walk.
So I had some quick fire questions for you. The first one, of course, being Ruby. Now, I've noticed there's a lot of jewelry that is used, or diamonds or something that is used. So how did you settle on Ruby, I guess, for your name?
So at the club, for the most part, we're all named after characters. Mine is a little homage to my sexuality. It's from Ruby Rose.
I was about to, it's like Ruby Rose. As soon as you started going, I was
She is a very well-known lesbian actress, and I felt like I wanted to take a piece of like my true self into my stripper character. And so I was either gonna be Ruby or I was going to be Rose. And when I like put out Ruby as like my first option, my house mom was immediately like, "Yeah, you're good with Ruby. We don't have one of those." I was like, "All right, cool." We've had a few others. We've had she's not there anymore, but we had a Kira, who I believe is from an anime. I don't watch a lot of anime.
Akira. Yes. Okay. I know. My nerd just kicked in there. Yeah. Okay. Akira.
Yeah. We had a Scarlet from Scarlett Johansson. We had we do have a lot of gemstones. For a while it was me, Amber, and Scarlet, which was fun because it was Ruby, Amber, and Scarlet, and we were all like those characters. Yeah, we're mostly characters.
And that's it. Now I guess one of those what was it? Oh yeah. So I guess in doing a job, stripping and all that, what is, I guess, your biggest no-no, I guess, that you would like tell them? There's plenty of no-nos, I guess you can say. What is Ruby's biggest no-no?
Before giving a dance, I give my 4 rules, which are no sucking, no licking, no biting, and don't touch my pussy. There are a lot of things you can do for the right amount of money. I will not look at your dick. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to see it. I'm not going to touch your dick. And you cannot put your hands or mouth anywhere near my genitalia. If you have a gun on you, oh my God, please take it out of your fucking holster before I start dancing on you. I like my clit where it is. Thank you. Being in the South, that is a big one.
Yeah.
Love my security guards. Every now and then one slips through. So yeah. Big no-nos. I don't like tongue anywhere on me.
We got that with the ear. We got that with the ear thing. That was
Similarly, if I am giving multiple dances throughout the night and I let everyone put their tongue on me, do you know how many diseases I'm just gonna transfer through my titties? Like why would you want to? Anyway.
Now, I don't know. It was the off season clearly when I went there and all that, but I know a lot of strippers, they have their go-to stripper song and all that. Now, does Ruby have a go-to stripper song?
It changes over time. For a while, it was Ragdoll by Aerosmith. Before that, it was Dream On. Currently, it is I Get Off by Hellstrom.
Oh, Hellstrom. Okay. Oh, okay. So we got a rocker.
Yeah. I fell into a dancing style recently that could best be described as like femme fatale. Like, is she a stripper? Is she a spy? I don't know. She's just hot and powerful, and I like that. So I try to find music that kind of reflects that, but you kind of just dance to whatever the DJ puts you up to.
Mhm.
You don't get a lot of say in it.
Okay. I know, like, for some clubs, usually, like, the opening, they have, like, their opening song or something. That's usually the one that gets in and then do that. So I was just curious if
Well,
they sometimes
at
do
our club, you never want your first song to be your best song.
that. Oh, you want it to be
Because
the
your first
last.
song is going to be when there's like 2 people there.
True.
You would rather your last set be of your best songs.
So, okay. Color. There's certain outfits, certain things and all that. What's your go-to color, I guess you could say?
So in contrast to my name, which is Ruby, I pretty much only wear black. I find that I don't have to worry about matching anything. I'm not big on like the sets that you can get, mostly because my proportions are not what they're selling sets for. If I find something that fits my ass, it is absolutely not going to fit my titties. If I find something that fits my titties, it is not going to fit my ass. Similarly, shoes are fucking expensive. The pair of shoes that I have that I just showed you were $180. Yeah. So I'm gonna
Does it
get
have a Jordan symbol?
Sorry? No, yeah. They're dancer grade.
Yeah.
So they're not supposed to break easily. Unfortunately, I destroy my pair, so I just retired these pair actually. These are no longer usable. And which sucks because these are my old reliables. I wore these every single night, but they split on the heel. And so the fabric starts coming apart. Yeah, and then eventually these will get bad enough that like it'll just be, you can see my heel through the shoe. The clasps will all get stuck either flat down or they'll break off. And then like the markings and shit will happen.
They've been worked. They've been worked.
I have seen girls snap their heels in 2, like right here. It'll just snap right off. So those I really only get 3 or 4 months out of a pair. And so I get the most basic colors that I can, because if I get a really fun pair that I'm only going to wear once when I have the right outfit for it, it's not worth my $200. So I'd rather wear all black all the time. Plus it looks elegant.
Now, I guess, what is your, I guess you can say, favorite asset that you often, that you're like, this is gonna get him. I gotta lean forward a little, or I gotta, man, what's the go-to? What do you think?
That's probably gonna depend on the customer. I usually ask, like, are you a tits or ass guy? But I've got, like, my ass is man-made, so I'm proud of it. My tits I grew myself, like, they are all mine. So I like both of them. I will say my ability level and my confidence are what get me the furthest. I am not afraid to put a man in his place. I'm not afraid to, like, just... I'm very talented when it comes to dancing. I look very sexual. Not a lot of girls pull off sexuality the same way. And that's not a jab. We all have our own style. I just tend to lean more on the sexual side than I do on the romantic or the elegant or the talent side of things.
I think you put more of the tougher. You're you're not foo-foo soft or whatnot. You're a tougher.
I don't do the soft thing. I'm a very strong individual. I'm also absolutely jacked now dancing for as long as I have. Like, I'm very strong, so I can do a lot more complex moves that I did before. I'm a very fast learner. If I'm gonna learn a pole trick, it's gonna take me 3 days. And I've tested that. I've had somebody give me a very complex move that I wanted to learn, and I learned it within 3 days. And I can do that with pretty much any pole move at this point, as long as I have the flexibility for it. Some of them are just, I have too many bones in my body for some of the moves that they want me to do.
You got to break a couple before you can actually do it. Yeah. So what would be, I guess, your we talked about the Corona bottle in the ass move. What's your, do you have a move that you like to?
Yes, it's It's a little hard to explain without having a pole to show you.
Oh.
I do this move where when I'm sitting kind of beside the pole, I grab the pole and I swing my body around it and I slam my heel on the ground. And so I'm kind of sitting like I'm sitting down with like sitting on top of my heels with the pole in front of me. And I rock back and I kind of act like I'm getting fucked, but against the pole. It's hard to explain, but it looks really nice.
I'm trying to remember the night if you pulled that out.
I'm not even sure if did you catch me on stage? I know we went back
Yeah,
together.
because like I said, there's only the two guys there, and they weren't throwing any money, so I just sat there.
Oh yeah, that was a slow night.
Yeah. So I just went over there, and it was like, all right. It was like right after the private dance or whatnot, and then we came out, and you're like, "Yep, I'm up," and then you went up, and then I was like, "Oh, no one's."
I will say, I zone the hell out when I'm on stage. Like people ask me what I'm thinking about when I'm dancing. I'm not thinking of anything. Like they're like, "Oh, are you thinking about like your chores later? Are you thinking about your dance moves?" No, I'm thinking of absolutely nothing. My brain is completely empty. 95% of the time when I'm dancing, my eyes are closed. Like I'm just feeling the music and doing my little routine. And every now and then, like if I'm in the middle of a trick, I'm like, all right, my leg needs to go here. I need to move my body here, but it's not really that big of a thing. If there's a lot of people sitting at the stage, then I'm looking around to see who has the most money and who I can twerk on, but that's really it. It's all muscle memory at this point.
And now, I guess the last most important question: what'd you think of the Barbie movie?
Oh my god, I loved it. It was so good, bro. Okay, so I took this group of girls with me, not from the club, but like just a girlfriend like group that I have outside of the club. I did all of their makeup. It was super fun, and I thought the best part was going to be like us getting ready together. It was this whole thing. Like we all gone to get like boba tea before that. I was doing their makeup at the boba shop. We were all having so much fun, and then we go to see the movie, and it was just really good. Like out of nowhere. I didn't expect it to be so amazing. Like I actually teared up towards the end.
Okay.
And like I really want to take my mom to go see it now because I feel like she would sob crying, but it was great. I loved it. I had this cute little outfit. Like I had my little strawberry earrings in, jangling like a motherfucker because I already jingle when I walk because of my bottle tab earrings. But
I had to ask because how we communicated was a Snapchat, so I saw the Snapchat story. I was like, all right, I know what the last question I'm going to ask could be. It's going to be about the Barbie movie.
Oh my god, I loved it.
Because she probably won't expect me to throw that, or it's the last one.
I'm gonna go see it again this weekend.
That big of a fan. All right. Well, Ruby, once again, I thank you for not thinking I was a creep and a desperate loser for asking to be on my podcast. You know, I'm expanding. I like I said, I have a wide range of guests on my personal podcast. But fellas and girls, if you are listening to this podcast, please like, subscribe, follow Tommy Tom One Mike videos. You will see me travel around Georgia. Of course, those videos will be dropping soon. But once again, Ruby, I enjoyed our conversation. I enjoyed getting to know you. Maybe we'll have another conversation. Maybe we'll get some more girls from the club with you to chat. You know, I'm sure you got your friends and all that. And we'll have a multi-group, a stripper conference, I guess you could say. We could have that one day. But
only thing I can promote is if you go to a strip club, come with more than $20 in your pocket. Tip the girls. Please.
That's it. Bring your money, fellas. Bring your money. This isn't
They're worth it. I promise.
Yeah. It is. I can confirm. It's great. But guys, we'll catch you all next time.